What's good? What's good? It's your guy Troublematic, and we are back with another Matic Mondays. And if this is your first time joining us, we talk about all things digital nomad, remote working, transferring your skills so you can remote work, travel, a little bit of expat life, all of that under the sun, and we have a little fun. What's good? We got Tiffany, the co-host. What's good?
Happy Black History Month. And for those who didn't get a happy Valentine's Day last week.
Yes, yes, yes. We are back. We are back. We took a little pause for the cause. And we are back tonight to talk about some things. I was on a flight Monday, went down there to New Orleans. Yes, give it up for New Orleans, man.
Yeah, I love New Orleans.
New Orleans is a dope place, man. It's been about, now to go back a little bit. My freshman year in high school, I was in the band. My freshman year, we went to perform in the Mardi Gras parade, so it was
that's cool.
very nostalgic. With going back just for that event, I've been there other times for the Bayou Classic. Oh, that's a good event there, the Bayou Classic. While I was in college as well. In college, I went there for Bayou Classic. But yeah, so I was participating in the festivities. I got there for the last event, which is Fat Tuesday. So you may have noticed if you follow the channel, I went live a few times on Bourbon Street. So it was.
How was Fat Tuesday in 2024?
It was different from the last time I've been. Period. They have more routes, so I was actually, and I didn't realize that they have all these routes sometimes at the same time on Fat Tuesday, so you can't be in two places at one time. So I wasn't like on Canal Street, but I was on more like Claiborne. They had like 4 parades. They all started at 8:30. I couldn't make the 8:30 because I was just tired from coming in that Monday night. So I got there around
8:30 a.m. or p.m.
I got there 8:30 Monday night, and then I got there around 10:30. But they had an 8:30 parade. The first parade started at on that Tuesday at 8:30. And then that was one parade. Then they had like 3 other parades. And it all ended up to about 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Okay.
So it was a long day. After that, everybody goes to Bourbon Street. So I went live there as well too. And a lot of people on Bourbon Street. So it was a good time. It didn't rain. It was raining throughout some of those parades throughout the week. But beautiful day. Nice warm day, wasn't too cold. So got a lot of beads and did all that good stuff. And
did you give a lot of beads away?
I did give about half of them away that I did collect.
That means you saw a lot of boobies.
Oh yeah, I saw a few titties everyone about.
You're not supposed to use that.
I saw a few breasts.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, they was like, show Charlie Murphy you did it. I was like, oh, so because some parades had different beads for the actual occasion, and I didn't realize that because some of the ones that I had from the St. Claiborne, South Claiborne way were different from the ones that they got from the Zulu down on Canal Street. So some people saw me on Bourbon Street was like, oh, I want them beads. I'm like, what? Like which one? They like that one, I'll show you my breast for these. And I was like, you gotta show me your breasts and stuff. Man. You can have because I want to give them away because I don't want to take all these beads home.
Right.
And so no, I want to show you my show me them. And so, yeah,
You're
it was
turning
fun.
mystical. Show me what you're working with.
Yeah, show me a little something then, girl, if you
Oh my
insist.
goodness.
But
Well,
yeah, so it was cool
I
fun.
wasn't in the warm weather. I was actually in Indianapolis for NBA All-Star Weekend, and it was cold. And they actually did a really good job. They had heat lamps all over downtown, in certain areas, um, but it was cold. I got a chance to check out the HBCU game, which is this is fairly new addition to NBA All-Star. I think this is the third year for the HBCU game. This year they had, I want to say, Winston-Salem and Virginia Union. Um, but it's fun. It's a fun time. They had it at where the Pacers play, which is the Field House. I call it something else. I call it what it used to be called. It got bought out and turned into something else. But yeah, it was a good time. And then of course All Star Saturday night, the skills challenge, 3-point challenge. You know, all that Steph versus Stephanie. Um, 3-point shootout was cool. But the slam dunk contest, you know, it's been lackluster for quite a few years now, and it's going to continue to be lackluster until we get some, you know, until we get some well-known, you know, people to come participate. But overall, it's a good weekend in Indianapolis. Yeah, but I'm ready. I'm ready for some warm weather now. I'm done doing cold weather travel. I'm done. Although I got track meets coming up, but yeah,
Hmm.
done with the cold.
And yes, we have my boy Flyboy. Um, Definitely check out Flyboy Way. He does it his way, as I always say. Travel content creator. We got Mocha in the house as always. Um, yes, Mocha says she needs to go to New Orleans. Um, yes, I was out there enjoying the festivities. Yeah, you need to go, Mocha. I would always say it's like a lot of people say it's not as it used to be, back in the day, which I can kind of see that too. Um, but it's still always a good time. If you've never been, you'll be like, man, I had a good time. Um, yeah. So what we have some more. We got my guy JC Travel Partners. What's good? What's good?
Hey, Jason. Hey, Mocha.
Yeah. So today we're talking about layoffs, man. Layoffs. It's getting crazy. We thought with 20 and from 20 late 22 to 2023 that it would just kind of fizzle out, but it's like man, y'all gonna have
It's
like a
like
skeleton crew in there after a while.
yeah, it's like there's a boulder on the top of the hill that started in 2022, and then 2023 is like picked up speed, and now 2024 is rolling over everybody. Like it doesn't matter what industry you in, it doesn't matter what kind of conglomerate you work for, whether it's small or large. There seems to be a big unanimous push to fire everybody. And we're talking like I think UPS let go. Now UPS just had I guess it was early December or mid December that big contract negotiation for some of the UPS workers, um, and that was a big deal. It was all over the news. Their contract negotiations, and then they also had like a $90 billion profit this year, as far as revenue. And what happened? They let go 12,000 people in 2024. 12,000 people. That's
Yeah.
just it's just crazy.
Yes. I meant the well, it's a long list. I mean, it's not even a short list that you can go through to show to people, but it was at least 20 something companies on there that the lowest was like 1,000 or 500 or so, up to 2,000, 3,000, 1%. I think Apple was like at 1% of their staff or something like that. No, Nike, I think both of them. I can't even keep counting anymore.
I know.
We titled this a serious discussion here. What is the discussion you think we should have with the people here, Tiffany?
I mean, I think we need to be honest and acknowledge that there seems to be a big reset happening. And it's just that time. So every generation deals with labor issues, right? Every single generation has had some kind of labor battle. And I think this is just ours. When I say our generation, I mean everybody who's of working age. I think there's a new push, with the work from home thing, and then the remote working, and people working more than one job and not wanting to return to the office, and quiet quitting, and and let me be clear. I'm not blaming this on the worker ever. I'm a worker, so I'm never going to blame it on the workers. But I think, corporations and companies have managed over the last, and I'm going to include 2024 in this, 4 years, in having astounding amount of record profits that they can then give to their shareholders. And they're seeing that despite the fact that we had the pandemic, which we're still in the pandemic. I never want to discount that we're not in the pandemic, because we're still in the pandemic. But despite the pandemic, despite remote working, productivity and profitability increased significantly to where they can now test the market on how can they now get higher profits with less people. So we've already kind of seen that, right, with reductions in workforce and giving people more work. But now on the salary side, on the pay side, we're starting to see a reset happening where now you're going to flood the market with all these workers. Can we bring them back, but at lower wages, therefore further increasing our profits? So I think there's some little devious, dubious, malicious intent behind the layoffs, because when you look at the profitability of the companies and the margins of which they're able to give to their shareholders, layoffs doesn't seem like a solution you would go to unless you're losing money, right? Typically in the past, we've seen layoffs like this if there's not enough money to go around. But that's not the case here. We're seeing profits. We're seeing record profits, higher than they've ever had. But they're still allowing themselves to cut back pretty significant portions of their workforce. And that's a concerning trend. That's very concerning, especially when you see it industry-wide, not just in areas like tech, and not just in areas of marketing, which are, marketing is usually the first budget to get cut, but you're seeing it everywhere. Like I mentioned, UPS. We're not talking about tech workers for UPS. We're talking about, ground delivery and the hands-on workforce that provide the UPS service. So, I mean, it all boils down to me to be corporate greed, and it's very, very unfortunate. And I don't know what the end game is. I mean, I can jump into the conspiracy theorist avenue and say that, with them making homelessness illegal in certain states, and then the for-profit prisons that are now leasing workers out to places like McDonald's and other corporations as a means to increase their profits, but continue to have a workforce. It all, the end game to me, ends in Avery and starts with an S. You know what I'm saying? So, like, where do we go from here as a workforce with the cost of living increasing and not keeping up with the wages we were already getting prior to this? The end goal, looks like everybody, with the first being impacted are women, and people of color and other marginalized communities, we're the first to be in the line of fire. So I don't know, Adrian. It's a very concerning thing to think about, but I don't put it past the people who are in power right now, which are not our politicians. They're the corporations who are paying our politicians. That's just my theory.
Mm-hmm. Mocha says, I saw they were laying off 12,000 people at UPS. Yes, that's kind of the cause and effect of that of the strike they were doing. It's gonna impact directly and indirectly choices we make. They decided to strike. The people say, hey, the senior level managers say, hey, that money ain't coming out from us. We're gonna lay some people off, and they lay people off, and then they give the people who they keep more responsibility.
Yeah,
which is crazy. What's going on, Eddie Mo? Tiffany Pula in Portland. What's good? One of the biggest contributors to the Matic Mondays. We appreciate you, Tiffany, for coming in.
hey,
Mocha. Thanks for sharing, Mocha. Yes, Mocha. Mocha is always sharing to the people, which we always appreciate her sharing, as well as everyone else. Please hit the like button and share. It helps the channel, help us grow here in this world of podcasts and live stream. There's so many of them these days, but we give you value here. You leave with something here. What you're aiming for.
absolutely.
Not none of that drama, toxic, stuff. Comedians.
Not today. Not today.
Other comedians want to fight other comedians and stuff. Yes. JC Travel Partners. My guys in here. I appreciate you taking time out from your vacation in Colombia here to sit with your boy. We have Dave R. Save your money. Continue to develop your skills. Don't rely on one employer or one source of income. Definitely. Like I said, I want you to come away with something with watching our live streams. And that today is something that I really would like to hone in on is, take this time to skill up. Like myself, man, I've been laid off. That comes with the industry which I'm in, working as a contractor for IT. Some people say, well, man, why you don't want nothing full time? And it's a long discussion, with contract work versus full time, especially in the IT. They do pay us a considerable amount of money with working contract, but the other caveat is that that contract can go for 6 months, or it can go for 3 years. All right, right now I'm on a 3-year contract, so it's pretty sustainable. But anything, like I say, with full time is not guaranteed, as we see.
12,000 employees from UPS thought they had a full-time job yesterday, or whatever day. And, a lot of states are at will, which means they don't even have to give you a reason. And they don't have to give you any notice. They can just let you go. So.
Yes. So nothing is promised when it comes to employment, regardless if it's contract or full-time. I think contract too, you kind of know, like, okay, I need to be on my toes. I can't just sit here and be a sitting duck, because full-time, you just kind of need to be a little content, like, okay, I got through the hiring process, I'm safe. And then they come knocking on your door like, we have to give you a little talk. Can you
they put a meeting invite on your calendar that's from a manager or HR that you ain't seen or talked to ever in your life. And it's at 4:00 on a Wednesday.
Yes, yeah. Oh, it should be. It used to be on Fridays, I think, or something like that.
Now they don't do. They do it any day of the week. Now they'll fire you on Monday after you've been to work half the day.
Yes. So, So skilling up is definitely something that I've done countless times. You got nothing but time on your hand.
That sounds all great, but please show at least one of my TikTok videos that I sent to you, because the part of us being honest in this show is understanding that the market is different now. The market, you can have all the skills necessary to get even a low, like if you're at a certain level, you want to just get something to keep the bills, just to keep the lights on. And you're willing to take a smaller amount, a lower amount. The market is so saturated right now. And there's other things that are kind of happening, which is why I say I think it's kind of devious what's happening behind the scenes, because even recruiters and hiring managers are saying they give us jobs and then we post it and then we get 10,000 applicants. And then they tell us to pull the job posting down. So there's a lot of other things kind of happening behind the scenes that, yes, Dave, absolutely. Develop your skills. If you can don't rely on one employer or one source of income. That's very sound advice if you're Dave Ramsey. But everybody is not in a position to say, especially in this economy where the cost of living has gone up. Everybody is not in a position to be able to save money and have more than one employer or more than one source of income. So I think we need to be fair to those who are just not in that position to be able to do so. If you have small kids, it's hard for you to work multiple jobs. There's not really a whole lot of 24-hour daycares out there, right? If you're taking care of somebody or if you're disabled, or if you're taking care of somebody in your household, like a lot of people are not in a position to do those things. So, this could be devastating for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I think what Dave R was saying with the one employer or one source of income, like the source of income could be passive. Like you have to be creative now. The days of I'm gonna work this job, then I'm gonna go and work a part-time job. Those days are coming to an end really fast with the AI technology coming around. So like that's why I don't really push people to get into IT, because it's not for everybody, but there's so many operational jobs surrounding IT where you don't really have to have that technical background. But then even so, the technical background is not like when I was doing code when I first came into Clark Atlanta University. I wanted to be a CIS major, and they had all these lines of code I had to write. And I really knew right then and there, like, this development is not for me. But that, I'm talking about 98 to now, like they have where you can copy and paste code now. So like code is not as difficult as it used to be.
But they're using it. But even what's the name of that gaming? So Microsoft had a whole gaming division. I think it was Microsoft, or maybe it was PlayStation. Somebody who recently had 2024 had a bunch of layoffs. They got rid of their Activision. Is that the Univision? Activision? One of those visions that does gaming. They let go the entire gaming department. You know why? Because you can use AI to write code now.
Right, but they still have a skill set.
So I think I hear what you're saying, Adrian, about tech, because I've pushed people into getting into certain aspects of tech, especially since that was my route. I came from the operations side of tech, right? I got into the billable resource delivery side, but I started in the operations side. The problem is, like one of the videos I'm going to show you, is there's other stuff happening in the market right now. So it doesn't matter what your skill set is, everywhere is oversaturated right now. And there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes that people are applying for 3, 4, 5, 600 jobs and not getting interviews or not even getting callbacks. And they're updated their resumes. They've added certifications. They've added skills, but they're still not getting to the job offer part because these jobs are just not hiring.
Well, I mean, we both know that. I know myself. I done got like 3 or 4 calls a day from recruiters coming out to me to ask, am I still in the market? So I had to kind of debate that a little bit. That like the BA roles, the what you call the customer success manager. There's 10,000 people looking for those jobs right now. Those as I said, operational. There are a lot more people at the bottom looking for those jobs versus like if you get in a certain skill set where you have a specialization or something like that. That's what I'm trying to go to. Like you have to be a little bit more creative, as I was saying before, because they this notion that there are no jobs out there. There are some out there, but people don't want to put in the work to get those specializations. Like everybody has a Salesforce admin certification. I have that right now. But if you get the one with AI, you get the one where you specialize in a certain module, you have to be like that creative to get those looks. And that's what I have a lot of those creative type specializations where they come from me. So I don't have no problem getting the job. Like I've always been very slow, other than sometimes my skin color. That's a whole nother conversation.
Right.
But they're at my door. That's why I want to kind of go in. Like you have to be creative. You just can't do the little simple add of your resume or change of your resume. Because a lot of people are doing these little, you got these social media people that, do this to your resume. It's so many people that's pushing that, but they're not. Like the one girl I saw on Instagram, she says, these are certain roles that you don't need to do no code. That kind of message was 5 years ago. You need to know a little code. You need to know a little SQL. You need to know a little R, a little Python. You don't have to master it. I always tell people you don't have to master this stuff. You just need to know just a little bit so you can grow in it and have that under your belt. Yeah. Versus the person who don't have nothing that was listening to this TikTok person or this Instagram person. Oh, customer success manager, such and such, and this and that. I'm like, yes, you got to stop pushing that narrative because this is a tech world now. This is a code world now. The days of being data entry and pushing paper, them days are coming to an end really, really fast. So you have to get some kind of technical skill set where you're in front of a computer, working on your daily task. But let me pull up your video here. It's the guy. I don't have a title because you did it the other way. So I'll just play this one.
The Great Resignation is over. We're now in one of the hardest employer markets I've ever seen. I've been in the recruitment space for coming up to a decade, and ever since I've been in the recruitment space, it's always been a candidate market, meaning that employers have really struggled to recruit top talent. That's not the case right now. There are less jobs, and there are a lot of really qualified people on the market. Back in 2021, when we had the Great Resignation, where basically everybody was leaving their jobs for more money, people would have 3-4 job offers at a time. Now what I'm hearing from people is they're applying for 100, 200, 300 jobs just to get one callback and go through an interview process. They're probably competing against 20 or 30 other people, and not many people are getting offers. So guys, I will say 2 things. Number 1, the market always goes back and forth. So things will get better over time. When that will be, I'm not sure. I'm thinking 9 to 18 months. And number 2, if you're on the job search, it means that it's going to be more competitive. It means that the job search is just going to take longer. It means you've got to apply to more jobs. It means you got to go through more interviews. You got to be really prepared, and you've got to be getting better at interviewing if you really want to land the job. I say this not to be negative, but just so you know, it's really not a you issue, it's a market issue. With it being an election year, I'm not sure it will recover before the election, but certainly once the election is over, there'll be more certainty on the future and companies will start to hire again. I always advise, make sure your resume is on point and make sure that you're networking and building relationships in your space, having as many conversations as possible.
I love that video. So if I can be transparent, in September of 2023, I was notified that my contract will be ending at the end of December 2023. It is now February 2024. So I have been out without a IT contract since February 2024. So because my employer notified me of my contract ending, I had 3 months of in addition to my savings of me already saving, but I had 3 additional months to kind of save and prepare for this time period, which I would be without an IT contract, possibly, right? And so I've been applying. I've been getting contacted by recruiters, like you mentioned. But you know me, I got some prerequisites. And so I reached out to my network. I reached out to people who I knew who might have opportunities. And I was even open to and being flexible to stepping outside of the IT field and trying some different things, right? So I had already been, contracting on the side in other fields for the past, I guess, 2 years. So what I did is I relied on my network, and I made the decision that until I find a full-time IT opportunity that I'm happy with, I'm going to go ahead and stick with my part-time, smaller contract work, and I'm only working part-time right now. But I'm able to do that because I saved, I prepared, and I reached out to my network. So if there are 3 things I'm going to tell you, if you're still lucky enough to be in a position where you're still employed, and you're listening to this show, I'm going to tell you, start saving just in case, right? Start updating your skills just in case. Update your resume as we talked about, just in case, and reach out to your network just in case. These are just things you're going to do to prepare yourselves just in case, so you're not caught off guard. But I really wanted us to have this conversation because I don't want us to just give you the 3 things or 4 or 5 things that you need to do to prepare. I want to be honest about what's happening in the market. And I'm glad that recruiter, I'm glad you showed that TikTok from that, shout out to that TikToker who gave us some truth about what's happening in the market, but also some things that we need to consider now if you're still employed or you're unemployed, just to keep your morale up, because it can be a very challenging time when you're looking for employment and you're applying, you're not getting callbacks, you're not getting interviews. It could be very taxing on you mentally. So I hope by watching that and also listening to us, you get the kind of encouragement you need right now.
Yes. David R says layoffs equals greed. Definitely. Like I said, them senior level managers, C-level managers, they're not about to lose their money. They'd rather lose employees over their money.
Oh yeah.
That's sad. That's a good old capitalism. Yep. And Tiffany says, when UPS drivers wanted $45 plus an hour for delivering packages, I knew there would be layoffs. Yeah. That may come in the auto industry too. I can see that coming in the auto industry because they wanted a lot of money.
Well, that's what happened. So that's what happened when I said every generation has dealt with this. Y'all might be too young to remember this. But shut up. So UAW. Do y'all remember the UAW strikes? I think that was in. I think it was in the. So the UAW is getting ready to go on strike again, right? They're in talks again. But it was like in the 80s.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Yep. Okay. So yeah, well, I wasn't. I mean, I was young, but I wasn't a baby. So yeah, so in the 80s, so my mother was a UAW union member. And so I remember going to Washington for a UAW strike. So every generation, huh?
Your mama had you out there striking too?
She did. She had us out there. Yeah. Oh, that was the second thing my mother.
Come on here, baby. Let's go on now. Pick up that sign and we're gonna walk down.
Yeah, but she was furloughed for a while because of the strike. So she wasn't a scab. She wouldn't cross the picket lines. But I distinctly remember that strike, that labor strike in the 80s, I think. Yeah, might have been the 80s. 80s or late 80s or early 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Um,
So they have them every, every generation goes through these labor issues. And I think we're just 2024 is just time for labor issues. Look at all the industries, even Actors Guild, screenwriters and actors and, all the people who work behind the scenes in Hollywood went on strike, right? Remember that?
mhm.
So I think it's just that time where everybody's workers' rights is just come to the forefront again.
Yeah. Yes. Tiff Pula in Portland. This is the Nike layoff that came through. I was gonna say, I think Uber and Lyft was supposed to strike this past week. Actually, I heard about that as I was in an Uber asking. Lady was telling me about that. And I think the airline stewardess, maybe, possibly, I think I recall. Um, yeah. So Tiffany Pulling Ports, I would push the youth towards trades. Oh yeah, the trades. Not even the youth. I push the old people too to the trade. Something that AI can't replace: barber, cosmetologist, HVAC specialist, truck owner operator. Which they're actually trying to get like electric trucks too. I think Tesla is kind of trying to create that. Owner operator, you can make 125, 35 an hour. Yep. My guy JC Travel Partners is a owner operator. Yep. And you see, he's in Colombia, just chilling. Yes, and let me show that other one that you sent to me.
Yeah.
Why are all of these places hiring, but won't fucking hire someone?
To be honest with you, it is not only the worst job market that we've seen in a long time, but you also got companies playing a lot of games here. Number one, companies are saying that they're hiring. They put a candidate through the interview process, and then they don't hire anybody, and then they repost the job again. And you know what's even worse, everybody? So you see all these jobs, right? All of them say promoted on LinkedIn. So companies are spending money to find candidates to apply to their jobs. Yet the crazy part is that they're not hiring anybody. And then you got companies like this who are not even paying anything to work for them. Or companies that give you a salary, but they give you a range that's just like, you don't even know what you're going to be making. And to keep on going, you got jobs that have been here for 2 months or more. Those are either filled or they're just being super picky of who they're trying to get for their company. I can talk about this all day, but I think the biggest thing for job seekers is that you all are applying to hundreds of roles and you're getting rejected by most of them. I see videos where people are applying to 100 jobs, 1,000 jobs, even someone who said they applied to over 10,000. The best thing I can recommend you is to create a resume tailored towards the job title you're going for, and then start to network with recruiters and hiring managers who are actually hiring. And one last thing is that don't get down on yourself if you get rejected from a job or someone doesn't respond to you. Because at the end of the day, you only need one response and one yes to land a job. Hope that helps. And how did you know all this? Because you follow me, Jonathan Words of Wisdom.
Jonathan, you need to start hitting that computer screen that hard with that Yoda mouse. Yoda eraser.
I love the Yoda eraser. I want to find me a Yoda eraser.
Like, boom, that job.
He wants to make sure you drive the point. Thank you, Jonathan.
Yeah, he was hitting it. But yeah, I see hitting a lot of points. The LinkedIn is my go-to The recruiters, I've done, like, if you get the premium YouTube, not YouTube, the premium LinkedIn, it's powerful. It definitely helps you, because I have no problem messaging a recruiter, tapping them on the shoulder with, and they actually so some of these roles on LinkedIn will have that this person posted this this job description. So you can click on that person's you can click on the job description and click on like send messages to recruiter, and it'll actually preface a letter, and you have to change it up sometimes because it'll say like, hey, Susan, I'm applying for this this program manager role based on, and it'll put your skills in the letter for you. Real cool little concept. You may have to change some things around, or just add a few more things that you want to like point out to the recruiter. I haven't gotten a job, but I've gotten a lot of replies back from recruiters saying, "Oh yeah, I'm glad you reached out to me." Powerful thing. You can use with LinkedIn Premium. I think it's like $30. Sometimes they give you a free trial for your first time for like 30 days. But yeah, he made me thought about that.
Well, I mean, you know, like I said, I think a lot is happening behind the scenes.
They do put up, like, I don't go for the promoted ones because I feel like if you look at the date on those promoted ones, they've been up there for a while. I only go for roles that have just posted within a day or two. If it's over 3, 4, 5 days, I don't go for it because it's too many people that's already applied to it.
Yeah, and there's things you can do. You can set up alerts so you'll get alerted when a new job is posted based on the parameters that you have set, filters you have set. That way they can send you an email when it's posted. You can be one of the first to contact the recruiter and apply for the job. So there's all kind of little tips and tricks you can use. The most important thing I want you to remember is to not get discouraged. I mean, even Jonathan said the same thing. Understand that it's not you right now. Don't get discouraged. And if you're watching this and you're still employed, these are things you're going to have to be looking for and understanding what's happening in the market. Like the previous video said, this could be 18 to 24 months. So we could be taking this into early 2026 before we see a turnaround, right? Doesn't mean you're going to be waiting until 2026 to find a job. It just means that you might have to compromise or be flexible in what you're doing until you find what you're looking for, and be okay with that. If that's an option for you. I mean, again, I'm in a place of privilege, so I can say that, but some of you are not. So if that doesn't apply to you, you know, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. This trucking thing that you mentioned here to the other Tiffany, it's funny. Like I said, the JC Travel Partners, just talking with him from time to time. I've always just been inquisitive about trucking. It's all depending on how you look, half glass empty, half glass full. He being in the industry for 10 plus years, he has expressed his issues with the business today, mainly because of like social media, TikTok, you know, pushing the, oh, get a truck. And so a lot of people have started driving truck. New people who are taking these lower offers from you know, companies wanting to ship their products, which, you know, it's just a supply and demand. You know, you got more drivers, you know, the rates are going to go down because you have more, you know, people to pitch your low fees to, I mean, your low rates to drive packages. I mean, deliver the packages. So that has, you know, driven down the actual profits for people like my guy JC Travel Partner, who was getting a lot more per load to transport. Now you got more drivers in there, new drivers. They like, hey, $800 to drive 100 miles, I'll do it. Versus when he was, in the beginning, he was getting $1,500, $2,000 to drive that 800 miles. So,
and not only that, truckers are dealing with, they want you to do outlandish things at pickups. They want you to load it, or they want you to do this, or the things they're asking people to do, some of it is against the law. And I don't know if anybody knows this, but I'm a hustler. Like, I'm like PMP. I've had several different kinds of jobs at once, and I used to work for a brokerage company that brokered the loads, brokered the truck drivers. So all the loads would come in to this brokerage firm, and then we would find a driver to do the work, and we would negotiate the rate and all of that, set everything up for the drivers. So the things, and then the drivers would get there, and the circumstances in which they have to deal with out on the road, have been, they're always trying you. They're gonna always try you. But the social media, flooding the market with these people are new. They don't know. They just see the money, and they doing whatever they got to do to get the money, and that's gonna benefit these people who are, having these outlandish demands, right? And it may be not even an outlandish demand. You're asking people to load and unload you when you one man who's been driving 12 or 14 hours. That's a ridiculous request, but it happens, right? Or they got all these loads coming in, and they got these drivers sitting in their lot waiting 12 and 14 hours to pick up loads because they got certain hours for pickups. And it's a lot of circumstances outside of just the low rates that makes it unbearable and unprofitable for a truck driver. If you're just sitting in one spot burning fuel, then it's going to be not going to be profitable then, even if you was getting the money you were supposed to get. But now, the longer you sit, the less your profit is going to be, right? And then what about your other loads? So you're balancing other loads and other pickups in addition to the one that it's a lot of things. It's a lot of factors that are impacting owner operators when it comes to that. But yeah.
Tiffany says, sure. There's long haul trucking and there's construction dump trucking. I should have stated specifically dump trucking because it is covered by DBE participation through government contracts. My cousin has a friend that's into the dump trucking. Then that's where the creativeness comes in. As I've spoken about earlier, you have to be a little creative, do your little research there.
Yep, and to that point, that is very true. I can attest to that. I'm, one of the contracts I'm working on right now, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for people who are DBE, and I'm helping DBEs, MBEs, and WBEs get federal construction contract money to work on these big construction projects. So that's part of the role one of the roles I've taken on, being able to do. So yes, that is very true. So you do have to be creative. Like I said, I wouldn't have even known about this role had I not reached out to my network. So no matter what industry you're in, if you're in trucking, reach out to your other truck drivers and find out who's doing construction dumping, who's doing dump trucking, who's doing construction hauling. Maybe you're hauling away equipment. Maybe you're hauling away dirt. Maybe you're hauling, bringing in supplies in. Like, there's so many different areas that you could parlay into, and you might need to, start talking to people who are doing in areas that are not heavily impacted by the layoffs.
Yeah, the government piece is really crucial. Even in IT, I was telling my long-term mentor that, and she's been in IT for a while. I told her, you probably need to come over to this federal space because they actually about to possibly get on a 9-year contract with the federal government, the company I'm with now. And these modern, right now they're doing in the federal government is they're doing a big modernization over all entities, DOD. I just got one today from the U.S. Post Office. A role somebody sent to me. What else? All the entities, Department of Homeland Security, all of it. Social Security, all of it is getting overhauled, which it needed to be, because them systems haven't been modernized since the 70s or 80s. So a lot of work in the federal IT space. And you said, you just said that. We have Melvin Eccles here in the building. What's good, Melvin?
Hey, Melvin.
You coming through, boss? Yeah, that's health related as well. There's a significant difference between construction and long haul commercial trucking. Absolutely.
Yep, there definitely is.
Yes. We got about 9 minutes left. We'll go through these comments here. Time is flown by.
I know. This is Black History Month, so it seems shorter.
Right. If you don't think about switching careers.
No, Mocha. I mean, when you say switching careers, I've already switched careers. I switched careers. I'm a pivoter. I can pivot. So my specialty is project management and process improvement. So that specialty covers a gamut of industries. So I'm always going to be able to pivot, baby. IT is just a field that I've been in the longest, but it ain't the only field I've been. I've worked in nonprofit. I'm working in construction right now. I've worked in trucking. So I mean, I've worked in banking. So I'm a pivot when I need to. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Uber Lyft. They were supposed to strike on Valentine's Day. The lady was mentioning something too, that she said she don't think it will be effective. They was supposed to do that a while ago, but it didn't work because you need everybody to participate.
Yeah.
Right? You can't just have some people doing it and some not doing it, which is just they be like, "I might get this money." Ain't leaving this money out here.
I know they wasn't striking during All-Star Weekend. That's all I can tell you.
Right. Charging them high rates. Man, them Ubers down in New Orleans was crazy high. I was right there on that bus and on that trolley.
I love the trolley. The trolley is so cute.
Streetcar. Yeah, it was pretty nice riding on it. Very
and
good.
It goes a lot of places, so.
Yep. It does. I just kind of like the old antique feeling of it.
Yeah.
It's really nice. Tiffany says multi-word in the drive. Yeah. Okay. Bam. What else here? She says, Mocha says, what are the college graduates' future for finding jobs? It's funny because when we was creating the show here, I was telling she was saying about this has been the roughest time, or one of the roughest times, and I was like, yeah, I think I was in one of probably the number one, probably since the early freaking years of this country. I graduated in 2001, and I graduated in December of 2001. And 2 months before that, something happened that was really, really impactful.
9/11.
Yes. So imagine being a college graduate, graduating 2 months after 9/11. I remember like it was yesterday. I went to the great University of Clark Atlanta University, a part of the AUC, which is composed of that at that time Morris Brown, Morehouse, Spelman. And our career center was in Spelman. Spelman's property. You got to go over to Spelman to do the little interviews or do little sign-ups for these recruiters that would come in. Be a board full of recruiters and stuff. So everyone could come and and sign up for those Deloitte's and Boehringer Ingelheim's and all these big companies. Man, that board shrunk down to like 2 out of like 50 companies that would be there all the time, and it was scary. It was scary, and I just being a black college graduate, that it's like, man, it was tough. But I just got into some other stuff. Started my little landscape business. I was selling cars and all that stuff. And then it got better over 2 or 3 years after that. Then I kind of got into corporate America, but that was a tough time, scary time, being a college graduate. So I don't think it will be like that, hopefully, ever again. But like the guy said on the TikTok, this stuff comes. I think, especially with the election coming through, I foresee a little bit more positive results in the recruitment space.
I don't, because they're using all that money to spend to fund that G side over in. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to turn around. Like I graduated during the pandemic, and it took me, before that, it took me a year to find an opportunity. I think this is intentional. I think this is intentional. 9/11, I don't know. There's a lot of conspiracy around 9/11. I don't think what happened as far as the job market after 9/11 was intentional. This feels intentional. This is different.
Well, I think it's the market correcting itself, because they went crazy. Like the people like at Zoom, who was one of the biggest companies to work for, because they was hiring like crazy. CVS was hiring like crazy. Any of those pandemic related companies, whether it was like for the
they was getting that pandemic money, but
yeah,
I mean,
in which they needed to hire people for the demand, because
right. But I'm saying this feels intentional. 9/11, if you take the conspiracy out of it, 9/11 was basically what they say was a terror attack, right? But it caused, it's different than intentionally letting go of people to reset the job market so that wages are way lower and profits are larger. There's no 9/11 to kick off this. In other words, 9/11 was an event that kicked off the market being bad when you graduated, but there's no event that kicked off this other than the fact that workers were demanding better conditions and more rights. So it's not as catastrophic.
Well, they wanted the wages too, because the inflation, people was getting paid, 3 cents every annual rate increase, 3 cents. I remember them days getting a 3 cent, 5 cent,
Yeah.
Like, man, I can't do nothing with this. And I think people took it for so long, but then like when eggs go up to like $10, it's like, man, we can't do this.
We can't do this. Well, not only that, but when researchers and pundits started doing the charting, so there's always this employment chart that shows the rate that employees are working along with inflation. So for a long time, it was like this. It was like they were together, right? They were very close. They weren't, tied, but they were very close together. And now inflation is up here and wages haven't moved. So
they haven't moved in years.
They haven't moved in years.
I still know people in my old, call center days, still in them 20s, and I'm like, dang.
And so what you do is you make them. There's no middle class. There's no middle class, so you make it so that when middle class can't even buy homes. Now you got corporations buying up single family homes. I mean, this is all points to being intentional. Because why is corporations buying farmland and single family homes? Why would you do that? Why are you buying single family homes? So that now and then renting them out. So the people who need to buy single family homes are not in a position to buy single family homes because one, you've purchased them all, and then you've priced the neighborhood out of their price range, and then you're not paying them livable wages to match what they need to be able to afford homes. So that's why I say it feels devious. It feels intentional.
Yeah, definitely. The trucking industry got saturated, like IT help desk. Yeah, IT help desk is one of those lower level operational role. Everybody's getting into it, so you got to be creative. The nail techs, I guess that got saturated too.
Yeah, because everybody's doing their own press-ons now.
That's the same thing Jungle been complaining about. I think about the new people. Yeah. We got BS3 in the house, the CEO.
They were at the Super Bowl.
Yes. Definitely check out BS3 Network, which is playing Matic Mondays on Roku. If you have Roku, you can definitely check us out there too. We're gonna get on Spotify and all these other places. Apple. That's what I need to work on, getting us spot on them places as a replay.
Yeah, that's what you need to work on.
That would probably be cool. Yes, Tiffany, hey Ben. My guy Cedric Galloway, what's good?
Cedric.
Thank you for coming in. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, that was it. Another great show in the books. So, just as I recap, I think about the old saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. You have to debunk that theory. Because a lot of these people that are being laid off are people who, been in that role 10, 15, 20 years. And sometimes you get complacent, and I get it. But you have to re-evolve in this world. You can't just sit here learning doing the same old things. It's tough. I'm telling you, especially when you're in your 40s, you don't want to pick up no book and learn nothing. You don't. It's tough. It's tough. I still am about to go and do some training modules for a cert I'm looking at to work on. Because in IT, if you everything is, they come out with a new application, 6 months later, it's another new application you got to learn. So I got to learn something for my role I'm in now. So, so I can be able to lead my people that I lead every day. So, yeah, you got to be an avid learner. If not, you got to learn to be an avid learner. You will get left behind. What do you have, Tiff?
The world is just changing. It's changing really fast. And one of my favorite hip hop songs is Survival of the Fittest. And it's time for you to just start thinking fit, start thinking lean, start cutting back on some of the things that you spend your money on. Maybe not look to acquire so many things. Maybe start really being smart about how you spend money, budgeting, seeing where you can cut out so that you can put a little bit more away. Because these companies have shown, especially in the last 10 months, that they are serious about downsizing their workforce, and they're serious about increasing their profits. And if you're not in a position to have a side hustle or work another job or have additional income, I highly suggest you start being smarter about how you save money, and then do it for a long-term plan. You want to save 3 to 6 months worth of rent and bills if possible. Just start being smart. Find you a high yield savings account to put that money in. Don't just put it in the bank. Don't just slide it under your mattress. Just be a little bit smarter about how you're spending money, how you're saving money. Start talking to your network. Start talking to your friends who work in other industries. Hey, how's your industry looking? Are there any new opportunities? If something happens, can I come talk to you? Reach out to your friends, your family members. Start getting your resume updated. You can reach out to one of us. Adrian is great at looking at resumes.
Don't put my name out there.
But we've had lots of shows where we talk about job opportunities, where to find them. So always refer back to Matic Mondays. Our titles of the show have what we have as far as content. So look for that, and keep hope alive, man. Don't let this situation, don't let the market, don't let what's happening in the world drag you down. You got support, you got people, and you got us. Every other Monday.
Yeah, we got said we need some trash truck drivers who want to work and stay at the city of Charlotte. Yeah, the boy's tired. He's like, man, I've been picking up this trash, paying me pennies on the dollar. Yeah, it's they're hiring at city of Charlotte if someone looking.
Yep.
Someone is looking. My job laid off 31 folks before Christmas, and we are getting our largest bonuses ever. Riddick, so senior staff getting hella paid. I do payroll, see how the sausage is made. Yeah, I know you see that money in payroll. Tiffany, do you deal with do you work with Workday and or who, are y'all using SAP to do your payroll? I know that's a popular one. Or PeopleSoft or Oracle.
A lot of people, I'll tell you, a lot of core places are using. Even my last employer used it, which is Paylocity.
Paylocity. Never heard of that.
A lot of people are using Paylocity.
UKG platform. She's using UKG. I'm not familiar with UKG. Okay, I was just curious. I got some people in payroll. I've been telling them to learn Workday or
Workday just laid people off.
Yeah, I mean, but
they just laid off in 2024.
She said ADP too. ADP, Workday, and Paylocity. She knows about Paylocity. Yeah. Dave Rice is my company use Intuit. Cool. Yeah, getting certifications in those payroll modules, they'll keep you employed.
Payroll and finance, any of those financial, those FICO modules.
Yes, finance. Definitely getting into finance.
Those modules. Although AI, if you can get in AI, teaching AI, learning how to use the AI prompts, there are a lot of companies hiring people who know how to work the prompts, because even though they built AI in a lot of industries, a lot of people don't know how to talk to the prompts. So that's actually become a job. So if I could drop a little nugget, and you're interested in artificial intelligence, do some research around prompting, practice prompting, download Source. Is it Source? ChatGPT and all those free versions of AI, and figure out how you can work the prompt, because that is becoming a new job in the market in software development.
All righty. Well, with that, we tired of dropping gems for y'all. We got to come back another Matic Monday and get some more of these gems we are dropping. All right. Well, we're going to get out of here. We appreciate everyone for stopping through, chatting with us, sharing the video, liking it. Until next time, we are out of here. We're gone.
Peace out. Love and light.
BS3 Network. Changing the way you watch TV.